Audio Jungle.
Talking about neural networks. The agenda of today's discussion will try to know what is a neural network, uh, what is it inspired from, and then we'll see what are the computational steps that a neural network goes through during training and prediction, and how do we implement neural networks using scikit-learn. So this will be our last topic. So we'll go one by one. So first, let us try to understand what is a neural network and what is it inspired from. So artificial neural networks are computational systems that intend to imitate human learning capabilities. So uh, how do humans learn? Human have this very complex nervous system which consists of billions of neurons, which enables us to process information and relay to in a very complex network, and that's how we process and uh, information and take necessary actions based on the input that we get from the neurons. So let's see how that happens. So if you see the anatomy of a one neuron in a human nervous system, it consists of dendrites. So these are the dendrites, as you can see, and then in the middle is the nucleus. Okay, and this part is called the axon. So this is how the information passes. So these receive the signals from, let's say, another neuron. So these set of dendrites receive information, the nucleus processes it, and the axon relays that processed information further to other neurons. So these axon terminals might be connected to another neuron, and here maybe some dendrites of other neurons are connected to these axon terminals. So this is how a complex uh, network architecture is created, and artificial neural networks try to replicate whatever the human nervous system does. So we will see how we have tried to capture mathematically what this nucleus does, right? So we'll see that in the further sections. So perceptron is the simplest version of a neural network. Okay, uh, you can think of perceptron as one neuron. So how do we replicate this architecture mathematically? So this is what is a perceptron. So what we do is that we take all the inputs. So we have inputs from x1 till xn. These you can think of as the uh, input taking part, which is the dendrites. Okay, and then we multiply these inputs with certain weights. Okay, so these are the weights, and then we sum these up. So x1 w1 plus x2 w2 plus x3 w3 and so on. We sum these up and we add a constant value. Okay, so this is this you can think of till now is what we do in linear regression part, right? So we have certain weights for each of the inputs, and then we have one constant value which we call as the intercept. Okay, so w0 plus w1 x1 plus w2 x2 and so on till wn xn. Okay, so this linear combination of all the weighted inputs are summed up. Okay, and we pass that through another function called the activation function, which we denote by sigma. So z here is nothing but the linear regression part. Okay, and then we add certain non-linearity through this activation function to get the final output a. Okay, so this is so you can think of the input layers as the dendrites, and this processing part, this summing up and then uh, passing the output z of which is the sum of the weighted inputs we pass it through an activation function. So this part corresponds to the work done by the nucleus, and this then this output passes through the axon. Okay, so this is how information passes. uh, okay, so this we call as the forward propagation, which you will see later, that this one pass of inputs is what we call as the forward propagation. Okay, because from the inputs we go till the outputs. So uh, so now this is a perceptron which is equivalent to one neuron, right? So if we want to connect multiple such neurons and create a complex architecture as we have in the human nervous system, we need to uh, make this more complex and add more perceptrons together, right? So uh, this is what we call as multi-layer perceptron. So here what we do, so this part is clear, right? The inputs part is clear, and then there is uh, one summing part, one processing part, and then finally we get output. But when we have multi-layer perceptron, the input layer remains the same. You have x1, x2, x3, and so on. Okay, but this the processing happens in multiple units. So this is what we call as the hidden layer. So here if you can see all these, if you consider this one part, this inputs, one unit of the hidden layer, and the output, this corresponds to the perceptron, right? So every input we have a arrow going till the first unit of the hidden layer, right? So you can see this arrow, this arrow, this arrow, this. So everything, every input has is contributing to the process in the first unit of the hidden layer, and then it is contributing to the final output. And similarly, we have uh, multiple such units in the hidden layer. So this we sometimes refer to as nodes also, and this is the nomenclature that you need to remember, that this is the input layer, this is the hidden layer, because it's between the input and the output and it is not visible. So you when we talk about training and when you have data set, so you'll have x and y values, right? Whatever is whatever calculations are being done inside, you will not see that upfront. So this is called the hidden layer. So each node of the hidden layer gets weighted inputs from each of the get weighted inputs from all the nodes of the input layer, that is all the inputs. Okay, and then finally we calculate the output. Okay, so we will go into the mathematics of these neural networks in detail in the deep learning course, which will be the next course. So um, don't worry if you can't get the visual uh, understanding of this process. It will all be clear when we discuss this mathematically. So you can, for now, you can think of these arrows as carrying some amount of weights which are being multiplied with the uh, starting node, and then that weighted input goes to the each of the nodes in the hidden layer. Okay, so as I already explained, forward the forward calculations are called the uh, is called as the forward propagation. Okay, so here you so this consists of one pass of forward propagation. And when we have so how does this work? So when we have a so you might be thinking, how do we calculate the weights? How do we know that what weights to give to each of the inputs so that it calculates the perfect output? Okay, so if you remember, while training we have certain values of x, and correspondingly we have certain known values of y in supervised learning. So neural networks is a supervised learning algorithm. So you will have, from the training data, you will have inputs as well as the outputs. Okay, so uh, in the first pass you will initialize this neural network with random weights. So you will put some random weights for W1, W2, and so on, and you will do the first pass. So obviously your inputs uh, will be will be multiplied with random weights, and your output will not match with the corresponding value of the actual output that is there in your training data set, right? So it will not match because these are random weights. Okay, so then what happens is that you have a backward propagation loop. Okay, so what happens here is that now the neural network starts to learn. Okay, so you have calculated some value of output based on random values of the weights, right? So that is not matching with your actual output y. So then you calculate the difference between the actual and the calculated value. So that is your error. Basically, that is your error for the first pass. So what you do with that error? So now you need to utilize that error to recalibrate all the weights that are there, right? And this will happen for all sets of inputs. Okay, so in the training set you might have, let's say, 1000 rows. So for each of the 1000 rows you will have 1000 such errors, right? And you need to utilize those 1000 numbers, error numbers, to recalibrate the weights that you had initially assigned randomly. Okay, so this is how the this is how the this is what is the beginning of the back propagation. So now you know that I have some errors, and using those errors I need to recalibrate my weights. So for that, what do? You create a loss function, right? So if you remember from I had explained gradient descent in my previous lecture. Okay, so there what happens, you define a cost function. So your cost function will be a function of all these weights, right? So your calculated output will be a function of all these weights, and that subtracted with the actual output will give you the error, and then you sum that error over all your observations to calculate the loss function. And then you do a gradient descent you run a gradient descent algorithm to know what all weights should be there in the uh, you will calculate a new weight in each of the iterations, right? That's how you will keep on improving your weights. Okay, so this is what neural network does. This is just the overview. All the intricate mathematics will be dealt with in the advanced courses, so please don't bother about it. So this is what is back propagation and forward propagation. So in forward propagation, you initialize your weights randomly, and then those weights are being utilized to calculate some output, which again is compared with the actual output, and then you utilize that error to recalculate your weights, and then this process goes on till you reach a certain amount of accuracy. That is uh, uh, that is the outputs that you calculate via those weights matches to a certain extent with the actual output y. Okay, so till that point you will keep on changing the weights, and uh, when certain amount of accuracy is reached, the gradient descent algorithm will converge, and you will have a optimal value of the weights for that training set. Okay, so this is what is forward propagation and backward propagation.